All right, welcome to RFK Connections Part 2. I apologize for the last one. I've got to figure out how to get more than 15 minutes of airtime with the YT. I'm brand new at this. Please forgive me. So moving on to section 2 of our little picture here, we've got 2. We've got 2 plus 1 is 3. We got 4 minus 1 is 3. Are we looking at a veiled 3-2-2 here? It's maybe a stretch, but we live in an upside down world, and we know that everybody's connected, so it's entirely possible that this is the signature call sign. And we'll get into the 2-2-3s and the 3-2-2s here in a minute. Speaking of which, apparently I spoke too soon. Look at this, 2-2-3, who do we have here? Now, who were members of Skull and Bones during this time? I already mentioned George H.W., Herbert Walker with the Herbert Walker Judge connection, George W. Bush, both Skull and Bones members. The list goes on forever. Let's take a look at this. Oh my God, it gets even better. We have 36. Now 36 is a very important number. Let's take a look at what we got going with 36. Why, it's the 8th triangular, the 6th square, and it counts from 9 to 91. So there's your 9, 9, 1 again. And look at this, a 6, 6, 6. Well, let's take 1 second. This lady died on 6/6/1966. Recognize the name? It's Donald Trump's grandmother, who married Frederick, and he was 33 years old when they were married, and they just had to throw in, again, this is from the official source, and they had to throw in, where is it? Oh, look, there's a 911 again, but that's probably just some bizarre coincidence. So getting back to our other 911 and our other 666, we have B.S. Sirhan. Who knows what the BS stands for? It sounds like it's a bunch of BS. We have the 2 and the 1, and oh, there's another 911. And Sirhan again, the 33. We'll leave poor Graham alone. Oh, but wait, there's more. Elizabeth Christ Trump. In reverse reduction is 116, and since we're going in reverse, you might as well reverse it, and there's your upside down 911. So, I mean, seriously. Okay, poor Graham. There's a lot going on here. We've already learned that these numbers correlate to dates. Let's break that down. 666, 151, they all play a part of it. Now, let's just pick a date. 6/6, since we're revolving around 6/6, we'll go 36 days past 6/6 and just see what happens. So that brings us to 7/12. That happens to be 223 days from President's Day, and Ivana Trump's birthday. This is important to note. This is how the system works. It all revolves around life cycles, and it'll blow your socks off here in a minute. So the day before is 223 days from Joe Biden's 2024 birthday. So again, these repeating patterns of numbers, I'm not making this up, I'm not pulling numbers out of the sky. I'm just using this year's signature numbers. So we'll go ahead 223 days, and that's September 1st, and that happens to be the day before George Herbert Walker Bush died. What? Another connection to Herbert Walker using this value. So we subtract 322 days, 322, and that's the day before Carrie Lake's birthday. And Miss Lake she's gaining a lot of popularity in the political spectrum. It's rumored and theorized that she may be Trump's VP selection. So look at the connection here, look at the connection here, look at the connection here. I mean, I think that's fitting into the narrative pretty well. We'll see what happens in 2024, but this is interesting. So 712 plus 322 days brings you to 530. And this day is the day in history in 2015 that Beau Biden died. So we got Joe Biden, we got Beau Biden, and we're just using these signature numbers, and I'm not going crazy with the numbers. It's 322223 because we're in the year 223, and 322 celebrates their 223 on 10/9, and this week between the 8th to the 17th, watch out, because it's a high convergence of all these numbers throughout the year. It may be the midpoint of the year. Who knows what's going on? I'll tell you that I'll get to the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar fall into this as well. So we go ahead 322 days. Oh, we already did that. So let's take a look at this. We got 8 and 6. What would happen on 8/6? Well, this happens to be the day that Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima, which falls right into the narrative leading into 12/6. And there's a bunch of these decodes that are leading towards 12/6. And now we have a direct reference to the day in in history that Hiroshima is dropped. So we've already got the narrative from the New York that put out their pre-cough cough, except it's a nuclear cough cough. Watch out. And this also happens to be the day, since we're talking about the Jesuits and the Pope and the Trump and the Biden, it also happens to be the day in history that the Holy Roman Empire fell. So another signature day. So again, measuring from the day of RFK's bang bang, once again, the 666, and apparently a very important number. Now we look at the 151. This is what is going to blow your socks off. This occulted way of measuring the calendar system, I've actually named, because it doesn't have a name, because apparently nobody knows what the system is. It's very easy. You start on the day, March 1st is the first of the year, and it's just a one-for-one connection. It gets a little crazy. Like when you measure from the Gregorian system, you start on the last day of the year. So January 1st is the first day. You start measuring from the last day before May 1st. So May 1st is technically the first day instead of May 1st being day one. It's a little confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it works out. So I've called it the shadow mark system. Don't do the gematria on it. I just came up with it out of the blue, and the gematria it's terrible gematria, so I'm just going to use it anyway. All right, so May 1st to January 1st. So using this, all right, you go to the Gregorian day, and the Gregorian day of 151, right, the prime 151, is May 31st. Now, it's interesting to note that the day before is President Joe Biden's son, Beau's, death anniversary. So another reference to this day. Again, this is the playbook. The following day is the day in history that Marilyn Monroe celebrates her birth. So watch this. Monroe, JFK, RFK connection. That's how we got to Monroe in the first place. We got August 6th. On this day in history, the Roman Empire fell. It's interesting to note that the days prior, on 8/4, Marilyn Monroe died. Wait. How did we go from the life cycle to the death cycle by using this number? Life, death. Look, check it out. Barack Obama was born on the same day that Marilyn Monroe died. I think we had an example of somebody being born, somebody dying. Was it Ivana Trump? I don't even remember at this point. But I'll get to Marilyn Monroe because it's very convoluted, but it's so simple. Marilyn Monroe leads back to this 12/6 day. And once again, using the 151, using the shadow mark system, we come up with May 31st. Celebrated her birth, her death, her birth, her death, using the system. Every single decode I've done, if you measure from the birth to the death, you go to the chart, you measure the span of days, you go to the chart, it tells you what day it is. it's consistently within a 19-day span. Every single life cycle that I've tried, I should probably try some random family member or just pick somebody in Wikipedia that has no connections to any of these nefarious organizations, because it's very interesting that every single lifespan is within a 19-day period. Some of them are a one-for-one match. And again, it's 119 days between, the start of each calendar. Every single day I've tested it out. Every single day is 119 days. That's what got me started on this whole thing. At first I was amazed because I didn't know what that meant. And then it dawned on me, it's simply just a 119-day span between each day. So I was it was an aha moment. I was a math genius. Moving on before I run out of time. We talked about 36. 36 puts us on Marilyn Monroe's birthday. 36, RFK Jr., Beau Biden. This Chaldean doesn't lie. I'm going to do a video using just Chaldean, and the breadcrumbs are amazing. You put in these death dates, you put in your suspected death date, you ask simple questions, you type it into the calculator, and it's really amazing what comes out on the other end. We're getting close to the end. We've got this final puzzle here. Now, we've already been brought into the year 2023 because of the 666, right? I've demonstrated that. We've got 523, and we've got 69. Now, this 69 is very interesting because it ties directly to what happened on June 18th with the sinking of the Titan, which is a completely separate scenario, but it all ties into this October and November time frame. So I think we have multiple rituals running off of one event in history. So we can measure from 523 to 69, 523 to 69, and we get 17. And who do we know is obsessed with 17? QAnon! Oh, excuse me. Well, measuring the 17 mark, it's hard to tell where you're coming from. Do I start on here? Do I start on here? Do I start on the death date? Do I start on the birth date? I don't know. You can make anything happen with 17. I don't know if we talked about the 33 connection. Oh, that's right, 33. Once again, we have Marilyn Monroe's birthday, and President Joe Biden is a Democrat. So that's interesting as well. But let's say this is 5-1. The alternative calendar system is what got me here. It starts on 5-1. There's nothing here. So let's just see what happens. 5-1 of 2023 to 6-9 in 2023. That's a span of 39 days. We've talked about Joe Biden. Joe Biden seems to be the focal point of a lot of these events this year. He's had a lot of strange things happen. If you watch the Queen decode, it's directly tied to him saying, God save the Queen 2 days before the Titan sank, which was a span of, I think, 9 months, 1 week, and 1 day from the Queen's death. I don't recall. I'll have to go back through my notes or just go watch the video. If you haven't watched those 2 videos, to see how the system works, it's amazing. But check this out. From his birthday, minus 39 days, including the end date, puts you right on the 13th of October, Friday the 13th. We know this is the infamous day in the Templar history. And look at this. Sexual rituals. Who smells hair? What are we talking about here? But then again, we've got the Knights Templar, who were really the first secret society. They got all this technology. They got all this ancient history. They got everything that the Catholic Church needed to include all the money. And, well, you know the story of the Knights Templars. So we have this bizarre connection from 5-1 to 6-9 rather, excuse me, of 2023. 39 just happens to be 39 days from his birthday. Is Friday the 13th. What are we looking at this week? 10, 18, I'm sorry, yes, 10, 18, and 11, 18. Mark your calendars.